Hello, 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 everyone. Let me just trying to share the link. Let me see. 1 second, y'all. I'll be back. Sorry, you all. I'm back. Hi, everyone. Can everyone write where they're calling or where they're viewing from in the chat? I'm just going to share my link real quick. Just give me a second. Let me just make sure this is share. Share. Copy link. I don't see comments. Okay. Okay. View from Alberta, Canada, the Denverville twins. Oh, we're twins too. I'm in Ngozi. Oh, nice. Let me pin this. Alberta. Oh my gosh. Nice. Let me show. How's the weather over there? I hear Canada. I mean, we were in Canada this summer, but I know different provinces. It varies a little bit. Overall, it's pretty cold. How is the weather during this time? What is it? I guess it's fall over there as well. I'm curious to know. Let me just. All right. Anybody do anything for Halloween? I know it's holiday weekend. Halloween weekend. I went out earlier and people had on their costumes at this restaurant. It's cute, but like growing up, I never was really big on Halloween. I don't know whether it's partially the African upbringing. I don't know if it's maybe even be a religious part of it, but Halloween was never like a big thing for me. I liked it. I liked the candy, but never really celebrated it. Like really celebrated it. It was pretty good. Okay, now it's pretty good. The winter's gonna be rough. Huh. That's one thing I don't miss. That's why I moved to Houston, originally from New Jersey, and I'm telling you, that snow, that cold. I was talking to my friends earlier today. I was like, honestly, if New Jersey was warm, I don't think I may have moved. I may have honestly still been there. It was the weather. That was like my number one thing. Weather. I don't like being cold. Like October to like April is winter in New Jersey and the heat is on. We start putting on, my mother got the heat on right now. We start putting the heat on in October, and sometimes even May we still have the heat on. I remember turning it off in May, my mother putting it back on. So may the force be with you. I know dress warm, have that, get your thick jacket. I know they say Canada Goose is good, it's expensive. North Face, even Gap, I have a good Gap jacket that's pretty thick. Whatever you can use, but just enjoy it before it gets cold. Hi, Nubian. Hi, how are you? Asking everybody before we're gonna get started soon, but just write in the comment section where you're calling from, where are you based. So we got Charlotte and Charlotte's in the building. Your city and state or country. Let us know where you're calling from before we get into this. I just want to. I'm also gonna post this on Facebook as well. You all. What a weekend. I can't believe it's already Sunday. Like, these weekends go by way too quick. Okay, just yeah. All right, so it's everywhere. All right, so I decided to do this live today. I know it was a little impromptu. I just posted it up like yesterday, so it was about like 24 hours ago. But if you guys remember from my last live that I did in August by myself, I was talking about my apartment, moving to Houston, the issues I was having, particularly with roaches. It's a thing down here, and it was really driving me crazy. I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't really expecting it. And also, where my apartment is located is by a lot of trees, so that was really driving me crazy. But my lease is not up yet, but I'm in the process of looking for places, and I just really wanted to have this like continuation conversation about places to look for, what to look for in an apartment, questions to ask, how inflation is affecting the housing market, also the apartments, cost of living increases, and all of that. So I just decided just to have a conversation with you all to discuss some of those things. So I'm gonna get in it and share this link. Anyone you think would be interested, let's see if we can get more people in. But I don't want to wait too long because I know I already had y'all waiting a little, so we're gonna get into it. So yeah, Houston. I feel like a lot of times when people think of Houston, Texas in general, they think of like really, really cheap housing. And I'll be honest, I thought the same before I really, really like started looking at places last year, like seriously, like last August and stuff like that. People have in their mind like you can come to Houston and get like a 2 bedroom apartment for $1,000 or something. Like they just have this idea that housing is like really, really cheap, and it can be depending on what you're willing to sacrifice to get that cost. But as we all know, inflation this year, I've seen so many things go up in price, like just before my eyes. Like I feel like before, I don't know whether it's because I wasn't paying rent, I was a little younger, things of course have gone up throughout the course of my life. Like I'm not 2 years old, but I didn't really notice it. I feel like this year is when I really, really noticed, like, oh, I buy this from Costco and it's $1.50 more. Oh, the gas stuff, we were just dealing with gas prices rising. I just started noticing things just get expensive this year. And I don't know if anyone else can attest to that. We can comment in the comments section. But like I just really noticed things are really, really getting pricey, including housing and real estate. When I had got my apartment, I had signed my lease in January. And I remember having my cousins and stuff call after and be like, I just want to make sure I'm getting the cheapest rate possible. Make sure like I'm not getting cheated. And they called after and it was like $50 more. Then another person called like literally after I signed, my same unit was like $100 more. So I was talking to my sister and then yesterday, and I'm just like, I'm curious like what my place is going for now, because I talk about it. I have a 1 bedroom, one study. So it's not technically a 2 bedrooms, 1 bedroom, one study, 1.5 bath, and it's 1,500. And moving here, I thought like it was kind of on the high side. Like I was being, it's my first apartment. I wasn't trying to spend too much. I was trying to, I wasn't trying to do too much. So I even thought it was kind of on the high side. But I'm thinking now, before end of the year, I'm going to definitely ask them or check online and just really see what my place is going for. But I believe my place is going to be going for at least 1,700. Like that's the bare minimum. Because if it was, like I said, right after I signed in January, it was going for up to $100 more. Imagine now with the cost of living and how prices have really, really, really increased. So I just think I think there's a lot of things I wish I knew before I really started looking. Especially, it's a little different when you're moving out of state. To be honest, when you're coming from a different state, because as much as you may say you research, and people always say in the videos, "Oh, you didn't do your research. That's how you're supposed to research. Watch the news, Google." Yes, yes, you all know that. We understand this technology, but there's certain things you're just not going to know or understand until you're somewhere. Like there's only but so much you could research. There's nothing like true experience being somewhere. So like the thing I yeah, like so I wasn't really as familiar with the areas in Houston like I thought I was. I just knew everyone told me, oh, stay in this area, stay in this area is safe, this area is affordable. And I went. I didn't really go looking at different areas. And being that I work from home, I wasn't so pressed about being close to work or like being close to this or being close to that. It was really about safety and pricing, cost. So I chose my place. So I definitely I'm not gonna renew my lease. I'm definitely gonna move somewhere else. But as you all may have seen, I have some videos from our most recent videos. I did a lot of apartment tours. Y'all haven't been watching those. So you need to go and watch those because like a lot of effort was put into making those videos. Let me just go to I want to share some links if I can. You all see my yeah, I want to share some links if I can, but watch those videos. Our last three videos, I was in the River Oaks area, which is the most expensive area in Houston. It's pretty pricey. So I looked at three places there. And of course the place I like the most is the price is like wow. Hanover, River Oaks. Yeah, Hanover, River Oaks, really, really nice. Amazing amenities. Location is good. A lot of things are walkable. Whole Foods, like right across the street, but it is pricey. Oh my gosh, like a one bedroom starting like at 21, 2200. And not to say it's not worth it. I don't like when people say something isn't worth it because they can't afford it. It's just not necessarily within my budget at the moment. So I'm starting to look at places. I was binging YouTube videos yesterday, apartment hunting in Houston, Texas, and realized there's not that much content out there. And I think that's why I made those videos that I did, because I realized when I would go online and try and search apartments in Houston or Houston, Texas, a lot of stuff will come out that's like more like in the suburban area. I didn't really see like a lot of proper Houston apartment hunting vlogs. So I did watch a few, and I started calling places and just looking at places. And I just feel as if another mistake I made was I didn't read reviews, and that's the big one. Like I feel as if you moving somewhere, you have to be on Google that place and look at the reviews. I understand nowhere's going to be perfect. Nowhere's going to have 5-star reviews. There's going to be a complaint somewhere, no matter how nice the place is, because everything can't be for everyone. Someone somewhere's going to have an issue with something, and I get it. But I didn't read reviews, and that was really like, how could you not read reviews in 2022 when you're about to move somewhere? So yesterday when I watched this one video, I'm gonna link it to this in the show notes. She showed 10 luxury apartments, and literally as she was showing them, I was looking up the names and I saw some of the reviews, and some of the things that really stuck out to me, which I really wanted to discuss in this live, was cars being stolen, particularly tires being stolen, people coming into garages and seeing their tires on cinder blocks. And if you're not familiar with Houston, that's a big thing here. People do steal tires. I don't understand why. If you're in the chat, you understand why it's tires versus something else. Like, why are they so big on the tires? Like, what are they doing? Is there something like they have high value, selling value? Did tires just go up in price recently? Like, why tires versus any other part of the car? But they steal tires is a big thing here. So a lot of people complain about their car being stolen, their tires being stolen. They complain about garage like maintenance, like garage doors being broken for weeks or months, elevators being broken for weeks or months. Um, what else being stuff like that? And people may think that's petty, but that all ties into safety and security, right? So if you have a garage door and it's broken, anyone could just walk through. Regular doors being broken, anyone could just walk through. So when I used to see that, I'm like, oh, that's not the big of a deal. But then when you think about cars and tires being stolen, you understand why people are so concerned about things being broken and people having access to them. So another thing people talked a lot about were staff, and it's the big thing. Having your leasing office, and I think that's something a lot of people sometimes overlook. But when you go somewhere, it may be nice, but you have a terrible leasing office, it could definitely affect your experience. People who don't respond to you, people who are rude, people who are not trying to help you, they're not helpful. Things happen, and they basically tell you like there's nothing they can do about it. I can understand why that would be frustrating. Another thing people really complain about is like odors, like cleanliness, like pets peeing in the apartment on in the elevator. I don't like pets. I don't like dogs, but I know my next place will probably have dogs. So I think that's something to keep in consideration. Trash not being picked up, being left in the hallway, smelling. So basically, cleanliness. Another thing people talk about a lot is noise. So what I was reading through a lot of comments, people said basically if you can't hear people above you or next to you, it's about concrete, like being in between. I wasn't really understanding it, but something about concrete that makes you not people not able to hear you or make things like really, really soundproof. So people were either praising their apartments for really being noise friendly or complaining about them hearing everything their neighbors do, not being able to deal with this, especially work from home. Now a lot of people work from home. So like you don't want to be somewhere where you're gonna hear everything around you. That was another major complaint. Let's see. Okay, Wendy made a comment. Let's see. I was considering moving to Houston, but it's person I thought, like you mentioned, and the car theft issue was the nail in the coffin for me. I'm telling you, people think they're gonna come to Houston. Oh, I'm gonna come and get a 2 bedroom, 1100. Like, no. Like, yeah, for the most part, it's cheaper than up north, but it all comes down to what you're looking for. Of course, if you compare it to the same type of apartment, the same type of space, the same quality, the same style, or whatever, and you compare it to something up north, for the most part, it probably will be cheaper. But it's not as cheap, I feel like, as people think. Like I had that rude awakening as like when I first moved down here, my budget was 1,200 for 2 bedroom. I wasn't liking anything I saw. I was barely finding anything. I didn't like anything I saw. And that's why I was like, honestly, my budget is too low. Like what am I going to get for that? So I think that's definitely a thing. And car theft wasn't it? Yeah, it's a big thing here. So you have to be very careful where you're living. Like it's a thing. Thank God I haven't experienced it. I pray I don't experience it. Knock on wood, but it's a big thing for people. And I was talking to my friends. Another factor is I feel like where this happens more is where you have garages. For example, like where I stay, like where some of my friends stay, you come in and you park. Like it's like going to the mall. You know how some malls have a garage you park inside, and then you have spaces like right in front of Nordstrom, right in front of Macy's, you're just parking like in a regular parking spot. In those type of scenarios, it's harder to steal cars, tires, whatever, because everyone is looking at you. Like right now, if I walk out in my parking lot, someone's out trying to steal a tire. There's no everyone's gonna see you. Like it's almost impossible. But when you're in garages, you have those levels. You could be in a little corner. You know what I mean? Like people are not always walking in and out. Like it's like the way it's set up, it's easier for people to steal cars and tires in garages. And I've noticed the trend when I look at apartments that have those comments, people are always stealing cars, people are always stealing tires. They have garages, like proper garages. So I think that's also a factor. Let me see. Gender mental noter. Hi. Visited downtown. Man, that side is dirty. I'm telling y'all. My sister Nana's and then I'm gonna call you out. Be commenting and responding. People say, "Oh, you need to be closer to downtown. That's where everything is." I'm like, listen. Anyone who knows Houston and you don't want to live downtown. You don't want to live close to, maybe at Midtown is the closest, but you don't want to live downtown. I went down there, the stadium, the Astros game. I go down. I used to get my nails done down there. I've been to downtown, and you don't know. My personal trainer was down there. It was taking me 45 minutes with traffic to get there. Like I had to stop like 6 weeks in. It was too much, and it was costly, and there's other factors too. But it was very, it was nah. Like downtown, you don't want to live there. Like I saw what I was seeing. I was like, God, forgive me. All your children are equal. I'm not better than anybody, but I didn't feel safe at all. At all. Like nothing I'm gonna look at is gonna be in downtown. Like nothing. You don't want to live in downtown. Then you remember the traffic, the parking situation. Houston is already bad with parking. You would think it's a city everyone drives. They charge an arm and a leg for parking. There's not enough parking for all the cars here. So you think about the parking situation living in downtown. No, I understand the mental note. I agree with you. You don't want to live downtown. Mm-mm. I would not recommend that to anybody. So Jen also asks, which areas in Houston can I live without purchasing a boat for real? What do you mean by purchasing a boat? A boat to move around? If you're trying to avoid traffic. Emphasize what do you mean without purchasing a boat. So what area can you live in? I'm trying to make sure I understand the code. What areas in Houston can I live without purchasing a boat? So basically, what areas in Houston can you live in without like being without that you're going to be able to get around easily? Is that what you're trying to say? Just emphasize that because you can go into that because I do want to discuss areas. Then I said that's every city. Yeah, it is every city, but I'm saying Houston's is another level. Remember, Houston is what the fourth largest city, is super huge. Oh, the boat. Nah, flooding. And that's another thing you have to consider. Floods. Okay, that's what she meant. Yeah, my sister smarter than me. Avoiding floods. Okay. So that's what you I wasn't even thinking that way, but that's good you mentioned that because another comment a lot of people mentioned, like they specifically one unit about how they handled the Hurricane Harvey situation and how basically the people on the first floor they wouldn't let them move their stuff up and they lost all their property and it just went downhill after that. So that's another question you have to ask when you're looking for a place. Does it flood? And also there is a site. Let me see if I can find it. On FEMA where they show a map and you can see where you are and it will show you if you're in a flooding zone. So I can't necessarily go ahead and say I know my area quote unquote doesn't flood because even when you get insurance, renters insurance is required for all like residents. Everywhere wants renters insurance. That's something that they will ask you and it will affect your renters insurance pricing. So for sure you need to know where you are floods or not. That's a thing for sure. Like that's very important. So let me see if I can find this thing because people will say, "Oh, this area that I feel like there's no way to know just by looking." Yeah, even when I'm googling streets, like there's no way to look just by looking. This is high water areas. You just have to when you're looking for an apartment, check on the FEMA website and also check with actual apartment. This is area flood, and they usually are honest, but it's the thing here because the rain, where Houston is located geographically, a lot of tropical storms, the direction of the wind, it can rain really heavy, and I know flooding is the thing here. It rains, yeah. People's cars get flooded at a point, depending on where you live. So if you have like an open garage, like I mentioned, which is better in the sense of okay, still people more likely to not have their car stolen as much. The disadvantage is that when it floods and you have that type of open parking situation, people's cars can flood. So definitely that's something to be very diligent about and really do research into before getting a unit because down here it is a thing here. But don't let it scare you off. It's not enough reason not to come here, but it's definitely something you want to keep into consideration. So I'm trying to think of other things people complain about. Excuse me while I drink my water. Okay. I know people also talk about some units, being younger, like younger friendly, older friendly. And, it just depends on what people are looking for. Because I even read some comment about someone who was like 70 something being upset that felt like they were discriminated against when they went to see a unit. And the people basically saying they have nothing left. Like some units, like, because let's be real, like, people are trying to have a certain environment, right? So some people are catering more to like a younger crowd. Some people are catering to like professional crowds. Some people are catering more like to an older crowd based on, location, amenities, who they feel as if they can sell to. There's so many factors. So like when you're looking somewhere, that's also something to consider too. Because I'll be honest, where I live right now is like it's not that I had this young people here, but there's a lot of families here. There's a lot of retired people where I'm living. Let's be my neighbor that's like mad cool. She holds my stuff when I go on vacation. She knows and it's kind of scary. She knows that I leave my house when I'm in. She told me when I traveled and I didn't tell her. I was like, wow, but she's an elderly, nice woman, so I'm not going to. Yeah, they can't give demographics by law, exactly. And Nubian then said they can't give demographics, but just by sometimes people say just by touring, you can get a vibe. Also, in some reviews, they would tell you the vibe of like the people that are staying there. So, for example, if I'm moving, Jenny said very suburban. If I'm moving somewhere now, I don't want to be ageist, okay? But like I don't want to live in an apartment that's like a lot of senior citizens are living there. Not to say there's anything wrong with them, and that's kind of like where I'm living now, to be honest. I see them taking their walks together. It's so cute. The little couples walking around the area. Or like maybe necessarily old, but like middle-aged people. There's some families that live by me, like kids. That's yesterday I was taking a walk. I saw them riding their scooters. So like I said, that's also a thing for me. My area is too suburban for me. I live in a Memorial area. It's a little too suburban for me. It really reminds me of living in New Jersey, like legit. Like I feel like I live in the town where I lived in New Jersey. Like I literally get that vibe drive here. Even I have a friend, and I was telling him where I live. He said, "Well, I grew up there. You live there? Oh, that's suburban." I'm like, "Oh, when I say that, my boyfriend was like, you love that word," but I was like, "No, like it's suburban." She said, Nena said, "That's cute." I ordered a pair. I told you about those Gap jeans I ordered. I came back. They came the day I left. And I came back looking for them. Like, oh my God, did someone take it? Blah, blah, blah. I came back like 2, 3 days later. She's like, oh, I didn't even know you came back. I saw the day you left. I saw the day you took your luggage. Oh, I kept these for you. I don't want anyone to steal it. She had my Gap jeans I was looking for. They didn't fit anyway. I had to return them. So this cute. And that's kind of the thing too, also too, that when you're living with people, a lot of times people don't realize how important it is. Like you may have family, you may have cousins, you may have friends, but like you don't see these people every day. When you're where you're living is very important because these are people you're gonna be seeing on a day-to-day basis. These are people you're gonna be interacting with. So it's not something to be like, oh well, I don't really care. I'm just gonna be in my apartment by myself. You know, some people have that attitude. I don't really care. I can live anywhere. It doesn't matter because I'm just gonna be in my room and going out. So, but that other stuff, it matters. Like it's not something you could just overlook because you feel as if, oh, it's not that important. So that's why I do say, I mentioned in my video what I wish I knew before moving to Houston, my 6 month update. What I only regret I have is not visiting my place before I moved there because I don't think I would have picked it. Like even my one friend is here down now and she's staying here for 2 weeks apartment hunting. And I just was with her. I'm like, girl, you're doing the right thing. Like I salute you. Like you are so organized. You are doing it the way it's supposed to be done because like she's looking at places and she's just not here looking at places. She's also getting the vibe of the environment. She's driving around different neighborhoods. Do I feel like I belong here? Because even if you've been following us, me and my sister, Nena's trying to keep recruiting me to North Carolina. And I keep telling her the reason, despite she thinking I'm trying to prove a point, I came here for this reason or that reason. I keep saying that I did not move to Charlotte, North Carolina because despite me being there 7 times, I never had that feeling. Like I don't have that feeling like, oh, I belong here. Oh, I need to be here. Like, oh, this is my home. Like I feel like when I came to Houston, even for like the first time just visiting, I was like, wow, I can live here. Like I felt at home. Like I know it may sound a little creepy and weird and all these things and all like kumbaya, yoga, green juicy. Like I get it, but like I felt like yeah, like I was at home when I came to Houston. So I think it is important to when I hear people. I had an Uber driver before I got my car. When I came earlier this year, like oh yeah, I just moved to Houston. I've never been there in my life. I just packed up my kids and moved here. I'm like, ooh, y'all, I thought I was doing something. I've been here. I didn't come and look at apartments properly the way I wish I would have. But like I came to Houston 3 times before I moved here. So it wasn't like I just came here once and decided I'm moving here. I was visiting. I'm like, I can't imagine just picking up myself, talk less of picking up children, and just moving to a state I've never been with, don't know anyone. Like to me, that's very bold. Like that's extremely bold, and I respect people that do that, but I understand why people do not want to do that because it's not for everyone. Jen said she visited for Nigeria Independence downtown. The traffic's absolutely pain. I see why people just pay for tolls. Toll, yo, I paid for tolls today. My GPS is avoid tolls. But I was running late and I didn't want my friend to wait for me. And two of us are running late. So I'm like, no, I need to get there a little early. But I barely use tolls. But I understand why people do it because if like I said, I don't drive often. But if you're driving every day, and especially during these high traffic times, you want to use these streets and the lights, it can be Stanley can't be cheap. It can be annoying. But what I noticed sometimes on a highway, sometimes the local roads are at the same distance, or even a little, depending on the peak time, can even be a little quicker because the highways are so backed up with traffic. So like yeah, the tolls, yeah, that's different. The toll roads are usually gonna be a little bit. But like the highways, it just is. That's one thing also I wasn't expecting because when I started visiting Houston, I visited during the pandemic. I don't know whether that played a factor. And of course, I wasn't like going out like on a day-to-day basis, but I didn't know Houston had traffic like this. Like I was blown away with this Houston traffic. It was something I was not expecting. This traffic in Houston, my gym, that's 25 minutes with no traffic, which is even too far. I don't know who told me to go join gym 25 minutes for me. But I'm like, oh, it's 3 times a week. It's not that bad. I need to get out anyway. I work from home with traffic. It would take me 50 minutes. Has even taken me an hour. Like disgusting. Like the traffic is really bad. Nubian said the Bible says better a neighbor friend nearby than a relative far away. It's true. People say my sister, my cousin, my this. And trust me, I'm the type of person who's really into family. Like I'm not like a friend person. Like I have friends, but I'm really into like family. But it's like you have your mom, but where's your mom? Where's your dad? Where are your siblings? Like the person you're seeing every day, my neighbor can help me physically more than my mother can physically because that's who I'm seeing on a day-to-day basis. So it's important, to like try and build those relationships. But that's I can understand why people are into like like the feel and the vibe of the where they're living because they want to maybe if like I said some apartments are geared towards professionals. So let's say I already joined an apartment, I live somewhere and I know it's going to be mostly professionals. I can meet people in my field. It could be networking, it could be all different reasons. Like people have their MOs. So it's like I think it's important to really think about that when looking for a place, like the overall feel. Nubian and said they can't tell the demographics, but if you go and visit, you can have an idea. Like, okay, this is more family oriented. This is more singles. This is more elderly. This is more for retired people. Yeah, so Jen said, try to avoid tolls, but they are sneaky. Speaking of that, by the time I left Texas, rentals car sent me an invoice with the thank you. Someone tried. I had some other, my video. If you haven't watched it, what I wish you knew before moving to Houston, Texas, has over 20K views. Thank you all so much for watching. I just made that video like in May, just being funny, and it just was doing well ever since the beginning. And I make this comment. People come on. This annoying part, though. People will come and try and argue with you about your experience. If Joe comes and says, I experienced this, and that, you can say, wow, that's interesting because my experience was in this, but like you can't argue someone on their experience. It's their experience. Someone's experience cannot be right or wrong. It's just their experience. So he's saying, oh, the tolls are clearly marked. How can you not see where there's tolls? Oh, how do you not know? I'm like, listen, I know what I'm talking about. If I knew there were tolls, I would not drive on them. The way the tolls are down here, not everything is so, toll, but I'm telling you, coming from New Jersey, if you're going through a toll, you will know. You will see the signs coming up every second. I know there's a toll that comes up, KD, easy toll, whatever. But when you go through it, everything will stop. The whole area stops. Versus here, the toll could be all the way to the right or all the way to the left. And then in Jersey, so people who have easy pass will go on one lane. People who are paying cash will go on one lane. People who are trucks, people like there'll be different, but everyone's going through the toll booth. Do you understand what I'm saying? But like being here, the tolls they're very discreet. Like you can be driving through a toll and not know. Like not everywhere says toll booth $3. Like it's not as easy. So when I moved in February, I had a rental car. I heard said maybe like $25. I'm like, what? Where'd I get? They showed me you went through toll here. So I'm like, hey, coming back from airport, I didn't even see these tolls. Just trust me. Like I said, I don't want to pay them. I would press. I didn't know. So now automatically I'm gonna avoid tolls. Unless I'm rushing, I take it off. I'm always avoid tolls. So I don't want no one deceiving me. But I'm saying the tolls are not that visible the way it is in New Jersey. Nubian said true. NJ, you cannot, if you're in New Jersey going through a toll, you're going through a toll. You cannot miss it. Everyone stops and goes through tolls. But here it's like the right, 2 lanes, the left, maybe 2 lanes. Everyone's going straight. I've gone through some tolls when I was going to Richmond where you just have that, it's like a silver line above you. You see that light beep when you're driving by. I just knew, okay, yeah, this is a toll. But if I was someone that someone can easily drive by that and not know they're paying a toll, and then you get a bill in the mail. So I feel as if they can do a little better, or maybe just people are just used to it. But I feel like down here in Houston, the toll roads are very discreet. It is not about $1, $2 being okay, yeah, but it adds up, especially if you drive and you don't really know that it's there. You can add, people are owing hundreds in tolls. Like it could really rack up. And all of a sudden you get a bill and like, wait, when did I even drive this toll? When did I even drive that? When did I even do this? So that's just my thing. But homeboy trying to really argue with me. It's very clear going through tolls. I'm like, okay, thank you. Yeah. Like, I'm okay. I'm not gonna argue with you, but like, I just don't understand that idea of people really trying to argue with someone when they tell them their experience on something. Like, I can't. It's social media, it's YouTube. Some people are very interesting, but it's just like, how could you come and argue this with me? Like, I'm telling you, this is it. Maybe also too, I think it's also exposure. Sometimes, when people have been only one place and they're used to things being done away, it seems if that's just the norm or it's just their second nature. Like, but like if you haven't been other places, you feel as if like this is a standard everywhere because this is how you grew up seeing things. But that's not necessarily true. That could just be your standard. But someone else coming from outside, from somewhere else, be like, I noticed this, I noticed that, I noticed this, I noticed that, because they're not used to this, you know? But yeah, so that's the thing. But what else about when I was looking through, yesterday, I'm telling you, I had to put my laptop out like at 7 p.m. and watch my Law and Order, catch up on my shows, because I was on the laptop looking up all these the reviews. Places have like hundreds of reviews, and it gets overwhelming reading all these reviews. Like, this person says this person says that, and I feel like I can understand why some you can't get lost in reviews. But for sure, if you're moving somewhere, definitely look at reviews. Definitely look at reviews for your toes. They just gave me $10 on my toe. Thank you. I paid $2 today. It's gonna go It's gonna go through my toe fund. Yes. It's Sunday. If anyone's in the spirit, they didn't already started. I didn't even mention anything, but if you're enjoying the content, at least like it, please. Everyone, that's what you can do. Just like it. Maybe other people can join, push it in the algorithm. Just like this video, please, please, please. But yeah, thank you so much, Nadine. I appreciate it. But yeah, so Houston is experiencing that's laughing, is experiencing, I feel like every second I turn, like people are moving to Houston in droves, honestly. And I know that may be part of like, prices going up, but overall everything is going up everywhere. So I can't say that's not the only factor, but I think there are reasons why people are moving to Houston. Like I think one of them also too is, besides just cost of living, what a lot of Nana said, if you move to Charlotte, I'll give you $100. What's $100? You have to pay my first month's rent if you want me to move to Charlotte. You're telling me $100. What's $100? Another big fact too, that another thing that a lot of people in Texas in general take for granted is that Texas, they don't pay state income tax. And I know I mentioned this before, I think in my 6-month update video. When I had moved, it took me a while before I changed my status to Texas. I was still like coming up as New Jersey. And when I saw the difference in my paycheck, I was like, wow. Like, and trust me, New Jersey, they tax heavy. They have all these NJEEE, NJ this, and they literally take off like 10, they literally take like 10 taxes in New Jersey. So I saw that difference in my paycheck. I'm like, wow, like it's a huge difference not paying state taxes. Like I feel like for people that are used to paying it, like people in Charlotte, North Carolina, people who are used to the challenge, $10.99. Yo, this person is taunting other people. You show love as well. Stanley, show love as well. You can't let these two ladies beat you. Like, we need you to put it, show us what you're working with. But yeah, thank you, Nana. Thank you. But yeah, I think that's a big factor as well. The not paying taxes, like, is more money in your pocket. At the end of the day, I know they say that property taxes are higher in Houston, which I don't have, like, I feel like it's a give and take depending on what people, because also the standard for people here is different because they're used to lower cost of living. So I feel like for people who are from up north, it's like what they consider high property taxes, people up north are paying that easily, and it's like average for us. So it's still a win, is what I'm saying. The not paying state taxes. Stanley, where's your own? Ladies, ask him. He's taunting everybody. Ask him where his own is. So maybe he's waiting for the end to to bring out the big bang. Maybe that's his MO. But he's asking, you want them to see what I'm working with? Good advice. Stanley, where's your own? But yeah, anyone, a lot of people have joined. Thank you all for joining. We're just talking about things to look for when important things to look for when moving, because moving in Houston, like we mentioned, if there's a flooding, Houston floods. So that's another thing to mention. Ask about cars, car theft, the parking situation. Asking about feeling the environment, the neighborhood, knowing what you're looking for when you're moving somewhere. I want to touch on amenities because I think that's a big selling point that apartments are using when they want to sell places to people. A lot of these apartments are getting all these really, really fancy schmancy amenities, and I feel like a lot of people don't even use these amenities. If really going to be real. So yeah, it's nice to have this nice lounge and this pool and this spa and this whatever, all these things people have. But I feel like it can, don't let it like cloud your judgment. If you're not going to use these things, like that shouldn't be the reason why you pay exorbitant rent for, because they have these nice amenities you're not even going to use. Like for me, for instance, the only amenity I really care about is probably trash pickup, is clutch, and a gym. Number one is a gym. Like I want an apartment that has like my cousin that's here, Nadine, her apartment, and I won't even put her on. I can't even start talking because this is a big girl who's talking. That's why she brought out. That's why she did her thing first. Her apartment gym, which is on her floor, which I'm not even gonna throw her out. Ah, Jen! Thank you, Jen. I appreciate it. Everyone clap for Jen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But yeah, like I want a gym that's nice. Like I don't want to have to go to the gym. I don't want a gym membership. I want a gym that has like good equipment, not these gyms that have two dumbbells, one machine, like these weird little like no. That's the honestly the amenity I really really care about is having a really really nice gym, really really nice gym. I think that's what's most important to me. But a lot of the other amenities that they be trying to throw in there are they're useless. It's just a way for them to charge more rent. Nana asked me, do you like living in Houston? Is it hype? Honestly, Nana, I'll be real. I told y'all, I think we discussed this after coming back from South Africa. I don't know whether because I was on vacation. Y'all went on vacation this month. And I came back to my apartment like, wow, I'm really living by myself. This is kind of weird. Like I felt very weird. And like I understand why some people choose, even if they choose to live by themselves, they choose to live somewhere where they know a lot of people. But I feel like my experience in New Jersey was different, right? Because even though I'll be living where I'm from, everyone I was really close to have already left New Jersey. So even if I was to move out and be in New Jersey, yeah, I'll be close to my mom and my brother, but like I'm not gonna be going out with them every weekend. You know what I mean? Like it's still, I feel like it would. I'm saying this because she asked about, do you think living in Houston, do you like living in Houston? I actually really do like living in Houston. I really do. And I do think, I know you will like this comment that working from home sometimes doesn't make me really see Houston as much as should be seeing it. Like I feel like I haven't really explored Houston to the level I should be exploring it. And not to say if I would be working, I would be going out after work or something, but I feel as if, I don't know how to explain it. Because let's say even if I was going to the same job every Monday through Friday, right? I'll only be going to one neighborhood, right? But I feel like from there, it would give me an opportunity to just see more of Houston. Because I feel like because I work from home, I have to go out my way a lot to really explore Houston. Like even on the basic level, to really know certain areas. Like it's me really putting in that effort, really trying to see things. But is it hyped? Mm, I think it just depends. When you say is it hyped, it just depends what you're coming here for. If girls are saying, yeah, I'm coming here to find a husband, that's one I tell people after we made our video, 5 best cities for single Black women. I'm gonna make up. That's what I need to do. I need to make an edited version of that because that video did very well. I don't think an emphasis as much as needs to be put on a location because people globally are struggling. That's the reality. The state of relationships around the world, talk less of America, is different now. So I don't think if a woman, my friend hit me up and say, yeah, I'm moving to Houston because I'm trying to get married, I'd be like, nah, don't do that. That's not why you should move somewhere. You know what I mean? Like as I'm saying, it's hype depending on why you're moving here from. If you're moving here, like we said, nowhere's gonna solve all your problems. You shouldn't have your mind, oh, I'm moving here because my life here is so bad. And I'm just trying to know wherever you are, wherever your situation may be, is not 100% just due to the area. There's other factors. Maybe, like I say, your friend group has moved, your circle has changed, you're in a different place in your life, you stop going out. You know what I mean? Like this, so the pandemic on top of all of that, pandemic affected everybody, especially socially. Like things will never be the same, despite how much we're trying to get closer to normalcy. It's impacted a lot of people, so I think it can be hype. Like I said, if someone's moving here thinking like, oh, I'm going to be out here every week, you could do that. If that's what I'm saying, it depends. Because if you're someone moving because you really want to be outside every weekend, Houston is the place. Trust me. Because the Houston people don't like their house. I don't like legit. They don't like staying in their house. These people every day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they're ready to move. They're out. They're looking for somewhere. I'm leaving somewhere at 1 a.m. People are coming. Like Houston people love out. They love going out. So if that's what you're moving for, of course you're gonna get it here for sure. But I don't I don't like pushing that narrative like you're gonna go one place and all your problems are gonna be solved because it's more than that. you know. Let's say you don't necessarily a gym if you unless nearby and need if you don't need a gym necessarily if a gym is nearby. This is really good. Yeah, basic end up getting a membership. Yeah, most of these gyms are basic. You know what I mean? That's the thing. I'm not saying I'm gonna base my apartment search only on the gym. Of course, like if I find somewhere, I'll be willing to have to just go to the gym. But I would love to be able to have a nice gym in my apartment. Like I would love that. Like it will make my life so much easier because I work out. YouTube is not the same. Like I like being back. When I started going back to the gym in the summertime, I hadn't been in the gym in over 2 years. I'm like, wow, this is different. The feeling, seeing people. You know what I mean? As much as you think I don't like seeing people, it's nice. I just don't want to work with them. But like, it's good seeing people. You know what I mean? Like, having a different environment. It's almost like a hobby going to the gym. When he said facts, so Jen said, so dating is tough in Houston. I'm telling you, when I first moved here in February, I met a group of friends on Facebook. One of them just texted me today, inviting me to her birthday thing next month. Went out to dinner, April. The way girls talk about men in Houston is scary. I swear it's scary. Oh, these men, the stories. I was on Facebook groups. The stories girls were posting, I almost thought some of them were lying. Like is it this bad? Like, is it this bad? Like, women will say, Houston men, they're all married. And no one in Houston, one of my closest friends who's here, no one in Houston dates people in Houston. And I kept telling her, stop saying that, stop having that mentality. Because what I believe in human nature, period, right, y'all, is that human beings, especially men, they don't like or they don't appreciate familiarity. So because someone sees someone all the time, or they know someone that's been with someone, they know someone's history, they put you down a little bit. But you're gonna go to the next state, the next city, maybe even the next country. You're gonna date someone with that same history, maybe even the worst history, not the worst, maybe even worst history. But because you don't know of it, you're going to deal with it. You're going to tolerate it. You're going to feel as if your mind is better. And I get that mentality, but it still doesn't really make sense. So I don't like when people say, oh, I don't date people in my city, especially somewhere like Houston. Houston is how many millions of people? And that's especially Nigerian. Yes, they don't like familiarity. That's why some of them go to village. That's another life. You can have a separate life for that one. But they don't like familiarity. They can go get that girl in the village who has slept with 100 people, but they don't know none of the 100 people. So to them, that girl is new. She's fresh. She's pure. Let's be real. She's not a virgin. You know what I mean? So it's like I feel like sometimes as human beings, we don't. I don't like it. Like, let's not be thinking because we see them every day, we look at them lower than someone we're seeing like we kind of bring them on the lower level. We become too familiar with them, so we don't value them anymore. That's not good. Because I feel like a lot of times you're looking for things in all these places, but what you need is like right in your face. But because of familiarity or one reason or the other, you're not acknowledging it. So when people talk about, I just want to make sure I'm bringing the right stats. Largest cities in the, I think Houston is the fourth, but let me see. Population wise. Yeah, Houston is number 4. I knew. I just want to make sure, because people will come on you on this YouTube at your stats. 2.4 million. Houston is the 4th largest city in America. New York is actually the first. Wow. So yeah, that's why I feel like I don't really necessarily go by numbers, because if you were going by based on who has the largest number of people, New York City would be the best dating option. Just based on numbers, because it has the most people. And anyone who is in New York, New Jersey area, up north, that's not true. That's not true. We know this. We knew the struggle over there. So like, I don't like to just go by numbers, but Houston is so big. Over 2 million people, 2.4 million people. Like, it's 4th largest city in America. I don't see why someone's saying they can't date someone in this city, because of these past experiences and these rumors and these idea that every Houston man is, has a family and is married. And some of them do it. I'm not even gonna say a lot of it, but there are the ones who are doing it. It's a thing here, so I'm not gonna sit here and, make it seem as if that's not real. Everyone has to open your eyes, shine your eye. But yeah, okay, Stanley, $20. Okay. We're doing big things in this life. Thank you all so much for donating. It means a lot. This YouTube thing. I can't believe, man, how long has it been since we monetized? Over a year. Yeah, like I remember how long it took. This month makes 5 years we put up our first video. We started our YouTube channel July, I think 2017. So it's been over 5 years, but this month has been 5 years, our first video went out, and this YouTube thing is not easy. Anyone that knows, Odogu, they is handling him, Odogu, Odogu. So the support is definitely appreciated. The Detterville twins said, "We are actually thinking of moving to Houston to have this Canadian code. Come, come. How easy, hard for us to build a community?" Great question. Thank God I went back to see this. Yes, you come, come. Canada, that's how me and my sister went through. Our family actually went as a family trip this summer. We've been trying to go to Canada for years. But, COVID came, and you Canada people, your COVID laws are too much. Oh my God. We had to download a special app. Was it Arrive Can? I'm just like, you're making us download an app. Thank God we didn't have to do any testing or anything. That testing stuff is over for traveling. I think it started in April, May, somewhere, but we went in July. So thank God. But yeah, that cold. When I see people talk about Canada and the cold, some parts of Canada are even inhabitable because of the terrain and the weather. They talk about what it drops to. If you guys can write what it drops to in Celsius, I'm just like, how are people living? Y'all need to come. Y'all need to come to Canada. I mean, no, come to Houston. I'm telling you, you have your connect here. Come to Houston. In terms of building community, this is a great question because I think that this is something a lot of people don't sometimes can overlook as much, and they get focused on, oh, where am I going to live, does my apartment have accent on this, do I have this type of shower? You get so caught up in all these other little details, but what's really important is community. I talked about this in my video in August about how I was church hunting this year, y'all. I went to some churches, people are passing out. I was like, I can't do this one. And I finally joined a church in Houston. I go to like every Sunday. I did like the believers course too. So like I'm actually like an official member. And I'm telling you, even from being in Jersey, and then I can attest to it, what made our social life in New Jersey was church. It was go. I was in school, then I was in school at a point we were working. It was church redeemed. Like my friends, my people I was closest to, my week to week, joining the e-board, doing this activity, hanging out, people going to the spa. I made my closest friends. And of course, for various reasons, we fallen out, I stopped going to that church. People are different parts of their life, but like I don't really know where I would have been if I wasn't that involved in church. So I think that is definitely a great way to build a community. I think a lot of people build communities through their church. Also, interest groups. The Detterville twins. Are you guys Nigerian? I don't know your background. If you can put that where like nationality wise, where you guys are from. But just interest groups, whatever you're into, like joining a group for that. And I think that's big too. Like for example, someone, if you're a nurse, people join like the nursing organization. If you're from this village, you join your village group in America. All these things are way that people, able to form associations and build community, because no man is an island, and no matter what you think, you don't know, you don't want to sit there and be by yourself every week. That's weird. Even if you have a man, some people think, oh, because you have a man, because no, even if you have boyfriend, you have girlfriend, even husband and wife. I see people who are married, the way they're into their social life, I'll be like, I don't think I can be like this. And with children, and these people are this meeting, that meeting, this associate, this thing, because you want to have something else. Like you want to have a balance. You want to have other things you're doing. It's not man or woman you will, you will die with. You want to have a full life. James said they didn't call me and say, yeah, you guys are even entertaining him. That at the Village Twins, where we live, we see as low as -40 celsius. We're doing our first visit to Tuesday next week. Oh my God, next week, send me an email, ejima@gmail.com, or you can DM me on Instagram, and guys, you see for we can talk, so we can give you guys details. The next weekend I'll be traveling, but I think I'll be back by the weekend. So just hit me up if you guys want any more details. But let me see, -40 Celsius. Let me see, because we use Fahrenheit here, so I know the equation in my head, but I'm not trying to do that higher math right now. Let me see, -40. -40 is saying that is -40 is -40 Fahrenheit. That's not possible. What? Let's say 0 Celsius, 32 Fahrenheit. -40? Jesus. Yeah, that is -40, because it's -40 times 9/5 plus 30, which is 8 plus 32, -40. What? Let me make sure I'm doing this right. 40. Ooh, -40 Fahrenheit? There's no way. I'm telling you, I told you guys I ran away from New Jersey. That didn't even hit 0 Celsius. That's hitting 0 Celsius. I ran as far as I can. -40. Woo! It's not me. It's not me. Professional, or then I had to professional, or as Canada people can show some love. Stanley, sit down. I'm having a conversation. My Detterville twins, be cool. Our background is Caribbean. Oh, St. Lucia, Trinidad, nice. I always want to go to Trinidad. Carnival. Never made it. St. Lucia, also want to go there as well. Everywhere I want to go. I've been to Barbados, Jamaica, Cuba, technically Caribbean, St. Martin. But oh, this is nice. There's a strong Caribbean community in Canada, from just being in Toronto and from what I hear. And they have their carnival, and I follow some YouTubers there. They have a lot of like Caribbeans there. I mean, they have a lot in America too, particularly New York and Florida and New Jersey. We have a large Caribbean community in New Jersey. But I asked around in Houston. I don't know if there's. I mean, of course they're here, but I don't know whether it's as big. I don't think it's as. I know it's not as big. Let me not say I don't think. I know it's not as big as Miami, like Florida, New York, and New Jersey, because I think that's where the large Caribbean community is here. Are you a Nigerian organization in Houston? Is there too many Wahala Nigerians in Houston? Was it easy for you to find friends? You guys gonna make me dance on Sunday? Do a praise dance for you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, let me go back to Jen's question. Are you in Nigerian organizations in Houston? Is there too many Wahala in Nigerian organizations in Houston? Was it easy for you to find? Okay, good questions, Jen. Okay, number one, am I a Nigerian organization in Houston? No, but I do attend some Nigerian centered groups. Like I know there's like a couple of organizations. Is it Igbo professionals, UIU? Like they'll have events, and I'll go to them. But I'm not like a member of any organization. Is there too many Wahala Nigerian organizations in Houston? Okay, this is a good question. This is valid because I know growing up, my mother was very like, she don't do all that Nigerian stuff to us. My mother is like, me and my sister say all the time, we could have been straight like American. My mother was like not that pushy type of person, and like she, from her personal experience, things she experienced, and my father passed, all that stuff. She knew to stay at her distance from Nigerians to an extent because she saw these things with her personal experience. But I do believe that human beings, period, are Wahala. And actually, I read that book, Wahala. If you've read that book, it's amazing. If you haven't read that book by, what's her name? Oh gosh, I'm talking too much. I'll put it in the comments of this video. But Wahala is a good book. Human beings are Wahala. So I used to grow up thinking, oh, it's just Nigerian people. They do too much, but it's because you're Nigerian and you know the Nigerian people, and you think that they're the ones doing the most. If you call other people, different groups, different ethnicities, to tell you how their people are, it's a human nature thing. So I think that it's good to have, like we mentioned, community is important, and I do think it's important to have community and being a part of certain organizations. It's all about how you choose to operate. Nikki May, yes, and then Wahala by Nikki May. It's all how you choose to operate in it. You know what I mean? Like it's not about necessarily the organization. It's about the people. Yes, also about what you choose to entertain. So I think that in terms of people think like, oh, you're gonna come to Houston, there's so many Nigerians. You're gonna step out your street, Nigerians will be on the street looking at you. Like I'm telling you, me, I choose to go to Nigerian church, yes, but I can go 1 month and I see Nigerian people. I put on God, like I can do it effortlessly. It's about what you choose to go to, who you choose to associate with, what you choose to go to. Like that's just, it's more than just, you know, it's not about just being, oh, it's Nigerians, oh my gosh, everywhere. Some people have that idea that they're gonna come to Houston and they're gonna be so bombarded with Nigerians everywhere. But then a lot of them are in a certain area. They have certain places they go to. If you don't want to, you don't go to it. You know what I mean? Like Houston is big. Houston is 25% Black. That's a big deal for a city, a major city. Only a few cities can boast of that high population of Black people. And yeah, there's a lot of Nigerians, but there's Caribbean people, there's African American people, there's all types of different African countries, there's all types of Black people in Houston. So it's not like if you have to be around Nigerians 24/7. If you choose to, you do. If you don't, you don't. Was it easy for you to find friends in Houston? Honestly, I would say that I've been lucky, and it's not everyone's experience. I think there's a lot of factors that impact this, but moving to, like I said, a lot of people could feel like, oh, I can't go on Facebook. I went on Facebook, joined groups because I feel like that was the only, after it's a thing. Even as much as I don't really care for Facebook like that, I know they have a lot of groups, and I went there. I met some really good people, like people that I'm still talking to. Like I said, hit up once today. And also to going to events. I met like one of my closest friends here. I met her at an event in April. I met another one of my friends at that same event. We're still talking. Like I said, I had one friend from school that was already here when I moved. Another friend from New Jersey, but she's not in Houston proper. She's like in the Houston suburbs. Um, but she doesn't live close to me. But like, yeah, it hasn't been an issue making friends. I'll be honest, it has not been an issue for me. Yeah, I do think it'd be easy if you go to work, because a lot of people say, you make friends at work, and I know me and Nana argue about this all the time. Nana don't come argue with me. I do believe you can make friends at work, but I do think there are boundaries. I'm not really a big thing. I'm not really a big proponent of making my closest friends at work. I'm not really, especially while I'm still working there. It's not really my thing for my own personal reasons, but people, like I said, I was talking to my friends earlier today. People are, let's make some bad. people people are people are friendly. You're in the South. It's different. It's a Southern hospitality. Like, say my neighbor comes up to me and she's taking my stuff. I don't know where they're in New Jersey. People, I don't want to generalize because there's good people, friendly people everywhere. But like being in the South, I've noticed just people are friendlier. People are more willing to be your friend. People want to get to know you. People want to talk to you. People are just, it's another mindset down here. So if you're, reasonable, you're nice, you're not doing too much, I think it would not be an issue with you making friends. It's not the easiest thing. We are older. I'm 30 years old. Getting older. It's not like you're in high school, you're in middle school. You get to see these people every day. You definitely have to put in more effort. You have to plan meetups. You know what I mean? Like you have to be more intentional for sure. So I think that's just a struggle a lot of people have. I don't think it's the issue of it being, yeah, maybe location based, but I haven't had issues making friends. Let me take a water break real quick. But y'all ask y'all questions in the chat. We're gonna go on for a little bit more. It's been an hour. I don't want to keep y'all here for too long, but what are some questions you all have? The data tools mentioned moving. Would you guys are you guys gonna move together? Do you have family in America and Houston? I'm just curious, and why Houston? Why at have you been? I know you mentioned coming to Houston this weekend, but have you been to Houston before? But I think Houston is it's a good option. I know even moving down here last minute, some people say, "Oh, you should move to Dallas. Oh, Dallas is better. Dallas is quote unquote classier. Oh, Houston is rise. Houston is ghetto." People always have their stupid things to say. Even after going to Dallas, I've been to Dallas 2 times this year. Once for a wedding, once for work. Dallas is boring. Even met people from Dallas in Houston when I went out with my friend. They were even saying out their own mouth, "Yeah, Dallas is boring," but they find a way to make it fun. They have their spots. Dallas, you can't compare Dallas and Houston. No, mm-mm. I mean, I think Dallas is still reasonable. Like it's still nice. It's expensive as well too. It's expensive. I think a lot of people overlook that factor. But I know people who are in Dallas now trying to come back to Houston. Like I know that like it's not. No, I think Houston is good. Houston is a good pick. Gender mental notice said hated Dallas, lived there my child is dry. Thank you. Like people try literally before I moved, of course, like after I signed my lease, oh, tell your sister to rethink her move. People saying, "Oh, are you sure you want to go to Houston? You should go to Dallas." Blah 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 blah. No, I'm so happy I didn't even listen to all that noise. That's what we call it, is noise. I'm happy I didn't listen to all that noise because after going to Dallas 2 times, after I already been there, but I hadn't gone there in years. I went there for a wedding, I believe in 2019. Yes, that was my first time going. So after going this year 2 times, I was like, I know I made the right choice. Like, I'm very happy I went to Houston. I'm very happy I went to Houston because Dallas is boring. But yeah, you guys comment down below. Anyone here in the chat in Houston? I'm just curious to see if there's anyone that's local, anyone in Houston. I know Wendy, you mentioned wanting to move here, then seeing the pricing, and then Dallas is right, Nadine. Exactly. Dallas is for families. Even I watch some of my Christian people, they got families there. Some of my influencers, like Dallas is perfect for families. That's exactly when I think about Dallas. I think of somewhere a good place to raise your family. Houston is still good for that too, but probably the suburbs of Houston, not Houston proper for the most part. Because was it HSD, Houston IS, something they call their school district. There's some issues with some of their schools aren't the greatest in Houston. So, but a lot of people that have families live in the suburbs like Katy, Richmond, Manville, all those suburbs, Missouri City, all of those places, Sugarland, that's the big place for Nigeria, Sugarland. They live in the suburbs of Houston. So Houston, I think, is still good for families, but I definitely get what you're saying in terms of Dallas. I think of more families, especially like if we talk about Black families specifically. I don't think of like singles running up and down in Dallas. No. Mm-mm. Met a girl who is in ATL. She wants to go to Dallas. Shit, 3 Nigerian clubs just open. Yo, someone from ATL. I mean, I understand. I get it. Like I said, just really, it depends. Does she have someone there? Does she know someone there? That's also a factor. Does she have friends there? I wouldn't tell someone that Dallas is a bad move. That's not what I'm trying to say. I wouldn't say that at all. Especially maybe coming from ATL, if you're tired of that life, I definitely understand. But I don't like the idea of, oh, that Houston is getting no. Everything I'm telling you, where I went, the apartments that I'm telling you guys to go and all watch that I did 3 consecutively, where I was in Houston, I was like, where am I? Like this River Oaks, my eyes was like, like I was like, wow. Even I know people that's I know some even in someone in this chat that we went somewhere and it's like, oh, I feel like I'm on vacation. They don't feel like they're in Houston. So everything is about where you choose to go as well. It's not about just going the environment you put yourself in. I can be in Houston and have a steak proper. I know the hotel I was staying in. I know the restaurants in my head that I was staying in. I can be in Houston and feel like I'm outside of Houston easily, proper. So, and then I said her man is there. Of course. So if Bay is there, of course. That's a driving factor. Why she would go to Dallas versus coming to Houston? Of course. I'm not going to tell a girl coming from ATL her man is in Dallas to come in Houston to do what? Like, why would she be coming to Houston? Her man is there. So that makes sense. That are real terms. We lived in Washington, D.C. before uni, but are originally from Toronto. So we are in the oil and gas industry. Yeah. So Houston's one of the hubs in Texas. If you haven't been to Houston before, oh my God, you guys are going to have fun. I'm telling you, you guys are gonna, like I said, DM me. I give you a list of where you have to eat, things you have to do. I don't know how much time you have here, but y'all are gonna have fun. You lived in DC before you. Wow, you end up in Toronto. That's interesting. Yeah, oil and gas. That's where that money's at. Like, yeah, it's here for sure. It's here. But yeah, y'all gonna have fun. Oh my gosh, yeah. Especially I'll say y'all in Alberta. So if I'm understanding, Toronto is in Ontario. So you guys are in Alberta. How Alberta? I know I've heard. I watched some YouTubers. Winnipeg. What's the other one that starts with like Is it an S? No. Oh, I'm trying to think. I've had Alberta, Manitoba. Calgary. I know a little something about Canada, but us being in America, I'll be honest, like we're so full of ourselves to an extent. Like we don't really go out our way to learn about other places. But it wasn't until I got older I really realized, even especially going to Nigeria, like the way that the world sets America. Oh, Saskatchewan. Yeah, I know that one. Saskatchewan. Excuse me. Yeah, I've heard of that. The way that America is set globally is like, I feel like everybody knows so much about America, but some Americans know so little about other places. And it's not good. It's not a good thing. Like world history, global, like it's good to know places, even if you haven't been there, know where this is, know where the capital is, know how far it would take you to get somewhere. So it's good. It's not good. Sorry, mommy's calling me. I'll call her back later. But yeah, Saskatchewan. Wow, yeah, Canada seems. I mean, a lot of people, especially a lot of immigrants, are going to Canada. The PR, they have a better immigration system, I would say, than America. So I think a lot of people are really looking into Canada, and I know they're growing population-wise a lot, but Alberta's on the west coast, right above Washington State. So we're on Mountain Time. Okay, so Mountain Time is 1 hour away from Central Time. Yeah, I didn't. Oh my God, I'm embarrassed saying this. I didn't really understand what Mountain Time was until this year. Like it's too many times in America. You got Pacific, you have Central, you have Eastern, then you have Mountain. So like right now I'm in Central, so it's 5:17. So that means Mountain, y'all are 6:17 p.m. if I'm correct. Then in Pacific Standard Time is no, that means you guys are 4:17 if I'm correct. Then Pacific Standard Time. No, I'm getting myself confused. I'm 2 hours behind. I'm 2 hours in front of California, which is Pacific time, right? So right now is 3:17 in California. That means yes, it's 4:17 in Mountain Time, and then right now is 6:18 in Eastern Time. Yes, so Mountain Time is an hour behind me, and this Pacific Time is 2 hours behind me. And the Eastern Time is 1 hour ahead of me. Right. Okay. All right, yeah. So y'all are okay time wise. That makes sense. Yeah, Canada's cool. It's different, but that weather, y'all. Me, -40 in Ngozi. It's not possible. I'll be miserable. I don't like cold. I know people say you get used to it, but it's to an extent. I remember, yeah, I'll tell a funny story before we wrap, but a couple of years ago, my friend, when I went to Nigeria, this guy was telling a story how his wife had went to America to give birth, and she kept calling him and telling him like, "Yeah, go get a jacket before you come." So he went and bought like this man was rich as hell. He went and bought like some small cheap jacket. You know, men they don't sometimes they don't really care about these things. And then she kept calling him and telling him, "Be stretching your fingers before you come." Like be exercising your fingers. So he's thinking about, my wife, she's talking. You know how men sometimes can blow off important things we say. He said he went to Canada, his hands froze. Like he legit couldn't move his fingers, like for days. His hands from the cold. He didn't heed to her advice. She was telling him, stretch your fingers, get ready for this cold. You're coming from Nigeria. It's like a whole nother world here. He thought he had it all. The jacket he brought was too small. He didn't stretch his fingers, didn't have gloves, his hands froze. So trust me, like I know that cold weather is it's not for the weak, but y'all used to it. But exciting that y'all considering exploring moving. All right, y'all. So any other questions pertaining to Houston? What to look at when looking for your apartment? Anything else we wanted to discuss? Is there something else I wanted to think about? Okay. Also, another question to ask is about pests. Do you guys have an infestation? That's the thing down here. Every apartment would tell you. I've been going there. Yeah, roaches is just a thing for Houston. It's just something that's big here. We can't really say we don't have them. Look at the reviews for those pest stuff. Roaches. Do you guys have infestation? Pest control. How often does it come? Like everywhere has pest control down here because excuse me, it's a thing here. So that's a question to definitely ask. What's another question to ask, or what's something else? What else is something else to ask? Bye, Jen. Love Charlotte. So you lived at Charlotte, not the cold. But yeah, Charlotte does get cold. That's what I'm trying to tell Nana. Trying to recruit me. I'm like, you don't know me. This today, even in Houston, I'm cold. Charlotte does get cold. Thank you for your time, Jen. You have a great day as well. But what else is something to ask when getting an apartment in Houston? I'm trying to think. I think we touched them about the cars, about the pest, getting a feel of the environment. Um, Getting a feel of management because that's who you're going to be interacting with on a day-to-day basis for the most part, at least a weekly basis. Wendy asks, are you required to pay for pest control? Does management pay? That's a good question because most places will add pest control as an additional fee. Like where I'm at right now, I pay, I believe, $4 a month for it. They do add it a lot of places as a fee. Some places even I've seen up to even $25. And that's another thing to ask, is parking free? That's another question to ask because a lot of places also charge for parking. It's a lot. So sometimes when you see that base rent and you think, oh, it's just this and this price, you need to know all these fees. I went to one apartment, they charge an amenities monthly fee, $100 a month. Like these fees is even what makes the rent high because if you're paying rent, okay, this is my rent. By the time they add parking, pest control, sewage, draining, amenities fee, this one, that one, you could be paying hundreds of dollars a month in fees. So that's definitely something to consider and to ask about what are the monthly fees. Some places don't charge for parking. That's a great. My place isn't charged for parking. It's definitely great not to have to pay for that because there's enough bills as it is. But that's definitely a good question to ask. And another thing, I saw one place that had a gas cooker. I didn't even know apartments still have gas cookers, but I truly prefer gas. If I can get an apartment that has a gas cooker, I would I would prefer that. Like, I don't like this whole electric thing, even heating. I feel like this heating with electric doesn't really heat properly. I feel like I still feel cold when I put the heat up. And I think it's maybe because we're in the South and it doesn't get as cold down here. Because I know up north gas is like the standard, but I feel like in Houston coming down here, even looking at apartments, everything's electric, 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 electric. Lord Ernest, Nana, I need you to make me some food from good soup and ship it to me. Little Nana, you see, little Ernest is talking to you. All right, just tell him your fee, include the shipping, priority shipping on top of it. But yeah, but overall, Houston is cool. I know it's been 8 months I've been here. Time's going by so quick. Next week will make 9 months. That's a pregnancy. I've been here. Wow, like it's crazy how this time just goes. Like 9 months. I feel like I kind of been here longer. Honestly, I feel like I've been here for years. Like I know it may sound. I feel like even though I feel like it's only been 9 months. Feel like went by quick. I feel like I've been here longer, if that makes sense. But it's been an experience. I don't have any regrets moving here thus far. I hope I don't have any regrets. Um, it's getting into the cooler weather, which I'm not looking forward to. At nighttime is starting to get. That's another thing. Someone came and trying to argue me in the comments. Houston is hot, and Houston doesn't get cold. I've been here how many years? I'm like, maybe you don't get cold, but how are you going to tell me Houston doesn't get cold? It's getting cold now. At nighttime it's 47, 57 degrees. Like, how are you coming to argue with me that Houston doesn't get cold because you lived here for how many so years? Maybe you don't get cold. Maybe what you're calling cold is not what I consider to be cold. I know I do get cold very easily, but Houston gets cold. Like I moved here in February, I was wearing winter jacket. People are wearing winter jackets when I moved here in February. So it does get cold. It just doesn't get as cold as it is in New Jersey. That's the thing. It's not going to be snowing. When it snowed 2 years ago in February, everything shut down. The grid, it was like a disaster for how I wasn't here at that yet. But I'm just saying, look what that little snow did to Houston because it doesn't happen. So of course, on the like you can't compare the level of cold to like being up north, but Houston gets cold. It gets cold. Trust me. Like it's like I'm not making it up. Someone try to. I'm like anyway, but yeah, it was fun talking to you all. You know, sometimes you try to make videos. Sometimes you want to just get on and really talk to people because making videos, we can't really interact and answer questions as we're going. It just can get so get so routine. But if you have any videos you would like to see from us, you could comment that down below. Anything you would like particularly for us to discuss, we could definitely try and get that done if it's feasible. But I am looking for an apartment, y'all, and I'm really looking at areas I really are like the Postal Galleria, Upper Kirby Greenway, River Oaks, but it's expensive. So I'm just really trying to get my. That's how I want to start early because I really want to get. I know what I'm trying to get, and I know what I'm trying to pay, and I know that it's not like the most reasonable. So I know in order to like have everything pre-prepared. I gotta start things. I gotta be checking places, and have everything lined up because this housing market. When I went apartment hunting a couple weeks, ago, I'm like things are getting expensive. Like I don't know. Yes, I hope I find. Hey, Deadville Twins, thank you. I'll DM you on IG for sure. Wendy, love the live. Hope you find something. Thank you. I hope I find something I like too, you all. So I'm gonna wrap up. If you have any last minute questions, I can maybe answer the question. But I'm gonna wrap up, you all. And I know some people are celebrating Halloween. People are going trick or treating. I'm too old for trick or treating, but I know people do takes even though Halloween's tomorrow is a weekend, some people that have kids and stuff do trick or treating on the weekends. But yeah, if you have any other comments, anything, you can always feel free to email us at ejima@gmail.com. I'll put that down in the description box as well. We are on Instagram. Oh, I can actually put my Instagram. Does you see wall for at Instagram? So let me post. All right. Let me just see my videos. In video. I want to share some links in here real quick. want to go to YouTube. Content. Yeah. Visual link. All right, this is the most recent video. This is a river. It's a post oak, y'all. This is luxury. This one, but yeah. So I'm gonna sign off, you all. Thank you all so much for watching. If you're not yet subscribed, please subscribe to our channel. Make sure you like this video so it gets an algorithm, people can see it. And I will see you next time. Bye, everyone. Bye.